they started taking in students to share their house with. And they were at the verge of losing their house. The bank was already at the point where they had set a date for them to come and sign at the court that they have now lost their house.
Hey family, welcome back to this week's episode of the Luciaan Godfrey Podcast. Today in studio, I have Tania Landman and Sipho, who is in the business of saving people their homes and potentially even buying their first. Let me use the opportunity to thank each and every person supporting the channel. We have noticed that less than 30% of people are actually subscribed, and that really helps the channel. So would you kindly hit the subscribe button so you can get a notification the next time when we upload another video. Family, how are you doing?
We're doing well, and thank you so much for inviting us back. And we are very excited that we've had such a good response from the previous time that I was here. So it's amazing to be here, so we're doing well.
Awesome. Sipho, thank you so much for joining us today.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for having me, actually.
Sure.
Because I've heard from Tania that the show is doing wonders. And for me to be here and experience it myself is, pretty good.
We got a lot of feedback, and you are the first guest that is actually on for the second time. Because people, obviously, they have a lot of questions, and I have a list of it. I hope you guys are ready. But before we get into that, please do tell us more about yourselves.
Oh, well, I'm Sipho. I recently joined that review center and I'm loving it so far. You know, the feeling of helping out a client who was indeed over indebted and it's difficult for them to meet ends meet.
Sure.
And then you actually get to be that Superman, a superhero from nowhere. You help out this person and that satisfaction you get after that it's doing wonders. Yeah.
Amazing.
Yes.
Tania?
Well, I was born in Uitenhage, so I've always been from the Eastern Cape. I have been in various industries, mostly automotive. That is what I studied. I spent majority of my working years working overseas. I came back when my mom fell ill and she then passed away. It was just before COVID. And then obviously when it was COVID, we were not allowed to work. And then I joined DRC. As mentioned before, I did think that it was just a temporary job that I'd be taking. But within the first week, I fell in love with what I was doing. The amount of people with the amount of stress levels and what they were going through and what they were facing out there and what they are still facing today. Just being able to assist them and give them that peace of mind that there is help available, made me stay. And I would never change industries again. I would never go back to all of the experience that I have in the automotive industry. For the past 5 years, this is what I've been doing, and this is what I will be doing, I guess, like I said previously, until the day that I die.
So obviously, Tania has been in the industry for a number of years. It's only been less than a year, Sipho, that you've joined the superhero.
Yes. It's been less than a year.
But like Tania can tell us stories about policemen who were on the verge of losing their possessions. Many others, different industries, etc. I'm sure which will come out maybe later on. But what stands out for you thus far?
Okay, so basically what stands out for me yet is, recently I've had this client, she's a student and she recently bought a car, right? And also she has a credit card. So on her situation, it was whereby like she's paying more into the monthly installments of her debt other than living, and she's still young, she's still trying to live, and then now it's more like paying off these student loans, paying off the car and the credit cards also, which is something that's not, I wouldn't say it's not good, but sometimes it's not wise because now all of your salary goes through the installments, instead of living.
And she's young, and that just shows you that, like we discussed before, with the whole cycle of life, we go through various stages. And as we mentioned before, renting and then buying your first house. I spoke to Sipho this morning and I said to him, if you finished your studies and you started like now, well, he's working now, but you know, when you're at the point of you can now apply for a bond or a car, what would you buy first?
Yeah.
And he said, no, definitely a bond.
Yeah.
I said, okay, no, I'm just checking.
Yes, yes. Because
Because
obviously it's been exposed now to
yes,
the hype.
and also it's an investment, but you know, he has the right mindset in terms of that. But
Yeah.
now with him going through this client, seeing that, you know, she's now invested in a vehicle. And I think that's just one of the biggest problems that we also find that people are facing is like keeping up with the Joneses almost.
Yeah.
You know, and I think it's not how we were raised. It's just society that pushes us into that category almost, where people are comparing like, you know, this one gets a new car, I also want one. This one's house is better doing renovations, I also want it. So, you know, these days it's almost like people are competing financially, but yet they are struggling, really, really struggling. But obviously they're not showing this to each other.
South Africa is in trouble. Not only South Africans, but let's focus on South Africa. South Africa is in trouble. Since lockdown, people have been basically been retrenched. They are going on short time. How does this affect the economy, and what could you guys pick up? Is there maybe a trend that's happening?
Yes. Well, if I'm just going to use an example, which is a lot closer to
Sure.
our community, which is the Eastern Cape, and then I'm talking about Kariga and Gqeberha.
Sure.
You know that Goodyear recently closed their doors.
Yeah.
We also have Aspen, which is retrenching a lot of people at the moment. There's a number of companies.
Sure.
So people are losing their jobs, and we don't have new companies investing
Sure.
in our country. And so we don't have new companies opening where these people can actually go and apply. So while they are being retrenched and being without jobs, especially with a company like Goodyear, where your majority of your workers are your breadwinners,
Sure. Yeah.
because
Yeah.
it's mostly a male environment where they build tires, you know. So the majority of them are the breadwinners in the
Yes.
house. So what's happened now is the prices, the value of the houses in the Uitenhage surrounding areas have dropped.
Wow.
So that alone already affects our economy.
Immediately.
Immediately.
Yeah.
Second of all, we know that with VW, people are working short time. It's been quite some time. So to the point where it was so bad where they would work 1 month on, 1 month off.
Sure.
When it comes to these kind of things, we do offer not only a debt restructuring, but we do a debt freeze. So
Okay.
basically, if I can explain what that
Yeah.
is it's an application where we assist for a 6-month period.
Yeah.
So we will make an arrangement with the creditors, but we obviously need all the proof, you know,
Yeah,
that
yeah,
you
yeah.
didn't just resign from your job and you end up in a situation where you're now at home not thinking about the consequences. So when it comes to the retrenchment and the short time and those kind of things, you do an application for a debt freeze. It gives you a 6-month period of where you don't have to do any payments. Unfortunately, your interest still continues to
Accumulates.
carry on.
Yeah.
But it does give you a 6-month period of just basically finding your feet, seeking alternative employment, miracles to happen within that 6-month period. But right now we are in serious trouble. Our country is in serious trouble.
What help is there out there? Or what, like, where you really see, you know what, if this person maybe had this information a few months earlier, things could have been different. Because I know that oftentimes people find themselves in difficult positions, but they leave it up until when it's almost too late. What can you share with the person that can already foresee this is happening? There are talks, etc. So guys, listen up. If you are working at a company where they are going to potentially retrench, or you are on short time. I'm sure that what Tania is going to share now, will save you a lot of heartache.
Well, first of all, you'll always hear the conversations amongst the workers.
Okay.
Then normally they would start with retrenchments with, your basic admin. People where they really can find one person doing two people's jobs.
Yeah.
Once you find that this is starting to happen, and also a lot of companies, they use last in, first out policy.
Okay.
So if you were employed last, then you would be the first one to basically go. So when you see these kind of things are happening, you know that you're only going to either be working short time or you're going to lose your job. Working short time, you know that you're only going to be earning a certain percentage of your current income, of your full income. Overtime is definitely going to fall away. There will be no more overtime. A lot of people, they live not on their basic, but they live on their overtime. So overtime is going to fall away. So now it's not just basic. There's no more overtime, and you're only getting a portion of your salary. So that already alone says that you are not going to meet your monthly commitments. And I'm not just talking about your debt, but I'm talking about monthly living costs as well. Because what's happening is the monthly living costs, it's just increasing. But we don't find salaries increasing anymore because people and companies and company owners, they're just trying to keep the company's doors open. Sure. Never mind like years ago where you used to get your annual increases and your bonuses and you could apply that elsewhere, and kill some debt. So the first thing I would say is once you just get a glimpse of it, that somebody just whispers something about it, you already start freaking out.
Yeah.
And you start having a look at your budget. And then the most important thing is you have a look at your income, your current income, realistically. You have a look at your expenses. You see if there's any way on your expenses that you can cut. Look where it's possible. And then you have a look at your debt. And your income, your expenses, and your debt, it all needs to add up in order for you to live from day to day. If you are 20 Rand short and you cannot cut 20 Rand from your petrol money because you know that it's not going to get you to work for a day, you know you are in trouble. Yeah. And you know that you need guidance and you need help. And we don't just advise debt restructuring. We will advise, we give free advice and free guidance where possible as well. But it is important to look at your own financial situation because we wouldn't know what your situation is like. You can assess it. That would be your basic assessment. Income, living expenses, your debt. If you see that you're not going to cope there, then you reach out for help.
And you know what's the mistake that they usually do once they reach that point, especially in today's society? They keep on taking loans. And it's like a trap because they never actually get out of them, because now you take 1 month loan and then now next month you cannot cover it. Then you take another one to cover that one. Yeah. And then now you end up in a situation whereby you cannot keep up with all of them. And what? The interest rates, they increase. And the
short-term loans.
And it's,
Does those still exist? I can remember when I used to work in construction back in the day, and I would make a 10K loan. I had it on my phone, or at the ATM.
Yes.
So they still exist.
They still exist.
Sure, and that kept me basically in that cycle for many
because you don't get out of it. Because basically what you're doing is you're making this 1 month loan. So at the end of the month, if you made a loan of 5,000, now you have to pay that amount plus the interest, but you have to pay the full installment. So basically now at the end of the month, you're paying that. For the first month, you're already in trouble because now you're going to make the loan. The end of the month comes, they make sure that they do debit checks. So there's no way of making arrangements. They just take the money because that is what the contractual agreement says. You agree to that. And then you'll pick up a trend. Like a lot of the banks are extremely difficult these days with loans. I think it's because they obviously know what we also know in terms of the economy and people losing their jobs and them not wanting to take risks. But the short-term loan companies, they are still willing to take those risks, but then you pay between 30 and 50% interest, which is high interest, and it's a 1-month loan. So now you start off with your 1-month loan, right, Sipho? And then you pay back, then you're taking another one. But now you're not paying back that full amount, but you're also paying a portion on interest. That's already putting you in a minus with your other debt. So now you take that one and you take a second one. Next month, you're paying those 2 loans, but you're taking a third one. So you end up with some of our clients, they have about 8 different companies of these short-term loans. And then the installments are so high because the balance and the installment is exactly the same. That this is what's keeping them going from month to month, but it's killing them.
And then they get to a point whereby they're just not paying it anymore.
Yeah.
And then that's where the problem starts, because now they're gambling with their lives. Because it will only start with when it's in arrears. Then it starts with the high penalty fees.
Yes.
And then once the penalty fees, it keeps on getting worse and worse and worse.
Yeah.
I had a gentleman on the podcast a few weeks ago, and he spoke about the importance of actually having a side hustle. And I think you mentioned earlier about societies as basically it put us in it basically society, you're trying to keep up with the Joneses, or based on society, you need to be this age, you need to achieve this, etc. And
like this
that
label almost, you're almost labeled.
But then now also when it comes to a side hustle, people kind of feel like, you know what, no, that is a bit degrading, etc. And they don't feel too open with it. I actually spoke to someone yesterday, and she's on short time, and they keep postponing it. She's also here from the Eastern Cape, Kariga. But every solution that I suggested, she's not open to it. So when you spoke earlier about society as basically made us to as us basically where we are today, because it puts you basically in a certain kind of mind frame that you believe that, you know what, I need to have achieved this, and I shouldn't be doing this if I want to basically have any self-worth. But it has nothing to do with it. But then people are struggling. So society is not a person. It's just a perspective.
Yes.
What perspective can actually fights what society is actually putting on us? Because if you're gonna live according to what society expects of you, or what if your perspective is according to that, then you will basically can prepare you for a life of debt, a life of EL, for that competitor.
Well,
yeah.
In that case, I would say, you know, today we like investing more in, you know, for example, branded clothing and everything, you know. But now that is credit. And it's not good credit either, because those clothes
are doing it cash.
Yes.
It's not an investment.
Yeah.
Yes. But now
You're spending towards.
yes. And we rather not spend towards an investment, you know. You ask anyone who's probably in the age of 22 to 29, you know, what's your investments? You know, most of them don't really have any. You know, like they don't really have any.
I'm an investment. You know, that's how they see myself.
Yeah. And then you ask them about their credits. How many credit cards do you have? They pull out this whole bunch of credit cards, and it's just the perspective that needs to end in the society, to be honest.
That was actually my following question. Do people have, I know we have a savings account, but do people generally do investments? Because you work with different demographics.
No, that's actually one of the questions that we do ask them. And because this is something that's important for us to know. It's important for them to realize as well.
Yes.
Because a lot of them are struggling just from day to day, but they're not thinking long term. They're not thinking about the fact that at one day they're going to retire. And then they're not going to be able to just live from month to month. People, they don't invest because they simply don't have money.
Yeah.
And they don't have money because they are not spending their money wisely. And like we said, like Sipho mentioned, branded clothing, fancy cars, you can meet those needs that you have. You obviously need to have a home.
Yeah.
But you don't need to have the biggest house.
Sure.
Yes.
As long as it provides for your family, it's affordable to you. If things improve in your life financially, you can always get a second house. But start off within your affordability. But what people don't do is they don't assess themselves. They don't assess their own financial situations. Yeah. It's like they need to hear it. Yeah. But by the time they hear it from us, they've left it for so long. Mm. So, like, my advice really would be to everyone is, it's basic. I even still do it. I still do a budget every month. Sure. I write in my book, income, expenses. Okay, I don't have debt, but I have my living expenses and those kind of things. And I sit there and I work it out. And like I mentioned earlier on, I'm getting new glasses this month. Yeah. That was already 2 months ago that I said, you know what, I'm putting away so much money every month because I need to get new specs. Sure. But nobody else knows what's going on in my home. But what we are finding at the moment is a lot of people think that if you avoid the creditors, now you change your cell phone number or you change your email, whatever, they're not going to get hold of you. It's just going to go away. I actually heard from a consultant from Capitec the other day. I had a client who used to bank with Capitec, and this client had no more debt.
Yes.
But there was a Capitec loan that was handed over years ago to a third party. That was already paid off as well. So I spoke to a consultant at Capitec, which is a friend of mine, and I said, like, what is going on? Why is it that this client cannot get approved at Capitec? And the consultant said to me, if you have a loan, even if that loan was sold to a third party, it's been paid off, you will never get credit from Capitec again. I never knew that.
Wow.
And this client's been applying because she banks with Capitec. Yeah. And this consultant said to me, that client will never get credit from Capitec again. And it's something I didn't know. It's something I learned, sure. which I didn't know as well. And what we're also finding now a lot is I'm getting packs and packs of legal documents. And these are legal documents where it's up to the point of an upliftment order. That means that the sheriff is going to pitch up at your house and they're either there to fetch your car or they're taking you home back. And then the whole process of them getting their legal notifications, having their Section 129 issued to them, the response times being 15 to 20 working days for them to respond. All of these, they're just ignoring it.
Take us, I know you have vast experience in the repossession process.
Yes.
So please do take us through that because I feel like if people are being educated in advance, then we maybe can handle it better.
Okay, so basically, obviously if your account is in arrears and you haven't made any arrangements with your creditors, also, even if you have made the arrangements with them, but you're not sticking to those arrangements, they will then start with the legal proceedings. So then what happens is you will get a final demand letter, which is also called a Section 129. Okay. So it then gives you 10 to 20, it just depends on who the creditor is, working days in order to respond to the creditor, to either make arrangements, to make, installments, payments, or how to do catch-up payments, those kind of things. So now if you don't make those arrangements and you just ignore it, then they continue with further legal proceedings where you now have to appear in court. So you get another notice, which it doesn't even have to be issued to you. You don't have to sign for it.
Wow.
So that final demand of court order can be dropped off at your house. It can be put in your mailbox. It can be given to one of your employees, as long as it was dropped off at your address.
Sure.
It'll have a date of when you need to appear in court. If you do not appear in court, you'll get a default judgment against you, which means that creditor, whatever they wanted, if let's say it's not even in your affordability, but you are not at court to prove or to fight that judgment, it will be granted by default. And then from there moving onwards, they will then get all the legal documentation to do an upliftment, meaning that they can then get a Section 127 will be the next step. That's normally for cars. So then you'll get the collectors, these collections companies that will come to you and say, well, you can voluntarily surrender your car, which we would always advise them not to do. Okay. Rather speak to us. When they get the Section 127, they are actually advised that you either speak to your bank, they give you your options. You speak to the bank, consult a debt counselor, pay up the arrears amount. They'll give you your various options. Sure. So they still give you a chance to do something about it. If people ignore that, you're going to end up with the final upliftment order. And I'm sitting now with court orders where it's final upliftment orders, where people are fighting for their bonds. And in the last 2 weeks, we have managed to save 2 bonds. But wow. It really is not easy, because if you are ignoring all of these steps that these creditors are putting in place to still give you an opportunity to do something about it, it really doesn't go away. And then it becomes difficult for us to fight and to make sure that they don't end up repossessing your vehicle or your bond, your house, because that's where your family lives.
I have a feeling that people watching this now, they may find themselves there. Mm-hmm. So, guys, there's a link on the screen. Please do go to that link, luciaan.com/DRC, and click on it, and then complete the affordability calculator. And then Tania and the team, they will basically get a notification and they will be in contact with you.
Be your superheroes.
And I feel like, you know what, the longer a person waits,
the worse it
actually gets. When you said earlier that you saved 2 bonds, that's 2 families.
Yeah.
Their homes,
yes.
their shelter. Wow.
Yes.
And
they are not young people. So, you know, they are more senior citizens, which means even if they lose their homes, they're not going to be able to qualify for a bond again.
Yeah.
Because their ages are going to count against them. Sure. One of the couples, they're pensioners. So, you know, they would never be able to qualify for a bond. Where are they going to be able to rent a house on their income? So, the best advice that I always tell people is, again, I'm going back to the self-assessment. Yeah. Do your assessment at home. You know, like if you're sweating 2 sweat drops when it comes to payday, you already know that there's something to worry about. Yeah. Don't play around with your house and don't play around with your car. And like now, we actually have excellent news where in the past we were never able to assist taxi owners.
Yeah. I wanted to get to that, because that industry, it needs a lot of consultation. Because,
it does.
Owners don't know how to actually.
They don't. And also in the past, we were never able to help taxi owners through SA Taxi. Okay. And we've managed to change that. Okay. And we can now assist taxi owners. So we are very, very excited about that, because we know that taxi is as good as you coming to open your business doors every day, starting that vehicle every day, getting people in there, doing your route every day. That is your business on wheels. Yeah. But they had nobody to assist them. You know, it was either you pay or we take it back. And And times are tough, and it's been tough, and it's getting even worse because you're finding that there's less commuters now because of job losses.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the routes are not changing, and yet people are getting more and more taxis, but then they get one route per taxi a day. So I don't understand how they expect them to make enough income in order for them to just have one route. And yeah, so the wonderful news that we have, which I'm extremely excited about because we're doing a presentation mid next month at the Taxi Association, where we will advise them as well, but obviously we don't want to wait until then.
Yes, because I'm already thinking like there's someone watching here now who a taxi owner, for instance, who has that problem. What do they do now?
No, now they press that button.
Yes.
And they speak to us, and we are going to help them save their business.
Fantastic. So guys, the link on the screen, luciaan.com/DRC. Click on it. Complete that affordability calculator, and then Tania and the team will then get back to you with feedback on the best way forward. You know, more and more I now understand in terms of being a superhero, what you meant by it, because these stories, it's personal, it's their business basically on wheels, like you said. Now, you've spoken about young people a bit, you've spoken about elderly people also. So when it comes to this problem that we actually are facing, so do you see it more in older people, more in younger people, or is it
all ages? It's all ages. It's all ages, different type of debt, same situation, affordability. Yeah, it's all ages. It's, debt doesn't come in different forms because of a different age or a different skin color or a different blood group, or, at the end of the day, we are all the same, and the debt and the creditors, they treat us all the same. So, so yes, we find in the younger age groups, you find different type of debt.
Okay.
Middle age, that's more where people are trying to settle, because now they're married and they have their first bond and they're trying to get their second vehicle, and the kids are in school. And then at a later age, it's, where they are preparing to get them into varsity. And then there's people that's now on retirement or getting ready to retire. So basically even to be honest with you, the stress of finances affects as young as school kids, because you are in that household living with your parents where they are financially struggling. So as a child, they are already experiencing it. They are not having to make those decisions, but they can hear their parents talking. They can see them stressing. They can see them losing a car that's being taken away. They can see furniture being taken out. So even as a child, as a teenager, as a youngster, they are already experiencing this.
I think I read somewhere that your stuff can't be taken anymore. What do they call it? The garnish order?
Yes, a garnish order is an order that they get against your salary. Okay. So that means that before your money gets paid into your account, it's an agreement that they make with your employer. Yeah, with your employer, where that money comes off your salary before it gets paid into your bank account. And that's how administration used to work as well, which, like I mentioned the previous time I was here, where there's this whole stigma of debt review and administration, where we are the same, but we are not. So they also worked in that way.
I'm sure that there are people that haven't watched that episode, but just elaborate to us.
Well, with administration, it used to be that your debt does not exceed 50,000.
Okay. I went under administration.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. But go for
Okay.
it.
Yeah, so it doesn't exceed 50,000. They do not negotiate reduced interest rates.
Okay.
So the interest rates remains the same.
Sure.
And they only do distribution of payment every 3 months.
Okay.
As to the opposite of what we do, where we negotiate reduced repayments, but we also need to get you out of debt.
Yeah.
So we would then negotiate reduced interest rates.
Yes.
So which will then keep your term slightly longer, but not forever.
Yeah.
With administration, it takes much longer.
Yeah. I can remember. In fact, now that we're speaking about it, I went under administration, and then took quite a while to get out of it.
Yes.
And then I actually almost forgot about it. And then a few years ago, I think I did tell the story where I went under a
Debt review.
debt review.
Yeah.
And that actually worked out great for me because definitely there's a big difference between debt
Huge.
debt administration.
It's huge.
Because as I came out of debt review, I got a discount, huge discount, 30%, and my credit score lifted.
Yes,
while
as you
I
made
was paying,
payment.
and I could buy a house, buy a car,
Yes.
and so
I had a client. She's in retail,
okay,
and she actually had an administration order, and she was paying for about 10 years already, and her debt never. From when I got a copy of her court order, and her debt never then went down by a single cent.
Yeah.
She was paying that 500 Rand a month, and her debt never went down. And it was a garnishee order coming directly from her salary. So what we had to do was we then had to rescind that order. So that court order had to be cancelled.
yeah,
And then we had to make it a debt review order. But today she's debt free.
wow,
And that's only 2 years later. So for 10 years, she was paying and paying and paying, and her debt never went down at all. 2 years later, she's debt free, she's got a clearance, and
now
she's
Tania,
debt free.
this is the reason why we are doing this, because people don't know this. People do not know this. I'm not going to share names, but a certain couple came to me and they thanked us for the information that you shared on the first podcast. And they are well on their way to purchasing their property now after getting into contact with it. So there are many others that maybe are not going to come here. In fact, they actually came here. So there are many others that is not most probably fortunate to come here because obviously we can't serve everyone, but you guys are like built to be serving thousands of people. So if you are finding yourself in that position now, link on the screen, click on it, complete the form. Tania and the team will get the feedback that you give them, and then they will respond with.
Yes, and then basically what we'll do is we will then do a more accurate financial
Yeah.
assessment.
Yes.
So we will then have a look and say, okay, well, what is your income? This is your debt. These are your monthly living expenses. So we'll do a proper financial assessment. And then we'll explain to them how the process works, and we will then tell them what their options are.
The holidays are on its way.
Yeah.
People are finding themselves earning 20K, but they need to pay 25K. So they're not basically making ends meet. They need a bit of money for the holidays to come up. In fact, they need a solution now, even for next year, to be able to live. They can't go on like that.
Well, in that
Is there an
case, oh, sorry.
is it a bit too late? You know, go for it.
Well, I wouldn't say it's a bit too late because at the end of the day, that review is there. Because as you are saying, you can't be earning 20K but paying 25K.
Sure.
You know, so that review was designed exactly for that, for you to get to actually save, not spend more. Because now, okay, holidays are coming, right?
Yeah.
But if you are spending 25K of your salary, paying your debt,
Yes.
you won't have anything
Just
by December,
acquiring
you
more.
know,
Yeah.
during the holidays, unless you're going to take another loan.
Sure.
And another loan will keep on getting you over indebted. And you also have to live probably for the next year also. So which is why that review, I would always recommend it, because then we will reduce your monthly installment from that 25K. We could get it as little as 12K. Maybe.
Yeah.
Wow.
And then now you
Yeah.
have 12K to spend.
We can save up to 60% of your installments.
Yes.
It just depends on the type of debt that you have. Up
Yeah.
to 60%.
And you get to save that money until the holidays reach. When the holidays reach, you have more money on you.
Yeah. And you don't actually live off credit cards.
Yeah.
Yeah, because then you're starting on a clean page.
You're starting the year fresh. Because now what a lot of people do is they end up, maxing out their credit cards, maxing out their clothing accounts, and basically all accounts.
Yeah.
Because they don't have the cash available. So now they're opening accounts left, right, and center. Come January month, they don't have any money because now they've opened up all of these accounts to buy presents and go on holidays and all those kind of things, max their overdrafts. So it's not too late to start saving now. But again, you need to take into consideration that you need to reassess yourself to see where is the problem lying. Is it that you are maybe overspending already? Or can you cut somewhere? If not, best to speak to us.
Sure.
It takes us a day to assist.
That is obviously when people have given you all of the details.
Yes. I can give you, not knowing you from a bar of soap, you give me an hour with all of your information and we will be able to tell you exactly what the best option is moving forward.
Yeah.
And we can assist you immediately.
So many people don't even want to reach out because they think by reaching out that already then
It's already an application. They
that's
think
an
that.
application, but not understanding the process. Just I know you went through it earlier quickly, but let us just go.
So basically, if let's say whoever is watching at the moment and they do click on the calculator, we would then get a notification. So we would then reach out to them. We'd ask them to provide us with their consent and their ID numbers because we need to draw their credit reports.
Sure.
Then we'll have a look. They need to then at least advise us whether they have overdrafts because our overdraft does not appear on your credit report.
Okay.
Then we'll do a financial assessment that will show them currently what they are paying and by how much we can reduce their payments. Then that does not show the interest rates reduction yet. That is just on contractual interest rates and contractual installments.
Sure.
We can show them how much we can save them monthly. Then if they can see that that saving is going to assist them,
Yeah.
then the further saving comes in once we've done their application. But we do not do anything without the instructions of the client. So we will always tell you that these are your different options. But what would you like to do?
Sure.
Would you like to proceed going with X or going to proceed with Y or Z or whatever? And then we'll move on to the next step. But providing your details to us does not put you under debt review.
Yeah.
That is just getting a free assessment from us and basically getting free advice.
Being in this industry for so long, you've seen a lot. The last time you told us about a policeman who actually almost lost his car, right?
House.
On his
His
house
house.
on Christmas Day.
Yes.
And you guys were able to save him from
Yeah.
actually that. Share with us more some success stories that, because I kind of feel like, you know what, people will be able to relate to it.
Now I need to try and think. Like I tell you, there's so many of them that comes to mind every time you ask me that question.
It's like asking basically a cricket player about a 60 score, because there are so many.
There's so many,
It's
yes,
like,
yes. But I
You
would
gotta deal with
say,
it,
it always comes down to me, close to the heart is always a home.
okay.
Because that's why I'm so passionate about taxi owners, because we have no excuse when it comes to transport. That's why they are there. So having a vehicle, is not a necessity, but you need to have a place to live. So my success stories would always be about houses. Yes. So we had a couple. Our husband, he had to go on early retirement due to health issues, and his wife is actually an accountant. And she was retrenched. She specializes in doing tax returns and those kind of things. So she tried doing that on the side as well, but as we know, we only do our tax returns once a year. And so she wasn't making the same income consistently every month. And they started taking in students to share their house with. And they were at the verge of losing their house. The bank was already at the point where they had set a date for them to come and sign at the court that they have now lost their house. And I have to tell you that one of my colleagues that deals directly with the bank when it comes to the bonds, Susan Strydom, she's our senior DC. She is amazing. When I'm telling you you're in good hands with us,
she fights.
You are
in good hands. And she assisted, and we fought. And we managed to not only stop them from legal proceedings, but agree to such a small installment that they could still afford it and keep their house. When I spoke to their husband, I think it was yesterday, we had a discussion, and he said to me, Tania, what's happening and where are we? And I'm like, no, so don't worry, everything's on track. And he's like, on track meaning what? I'm like, no, you can get more students in there. And he's like, yeah, but I can't get students in if we're going to have to get them to leave again. I'm like, no, but they're not going anywhere. You're staying, you're keeping your house. And he was so emotional. He's like, I feel like crying.
I feel like crying now. I'm not going to have the camera on me. It should show to you now because I need some tissue.
Yeah, he was so emotional. He said to me, I'm so emotional right now. He says, I feel like crying. I feel like I'm going to burst out in tears. He says, thank you so much to everyone for everything that you've done for us. And I said to him, but that is what we do. And he still said, oh, I need to go buy you guys a box of chocolates. And I said, you do not need to buy us anything. This is what we do. And, this is the aim of what we are trying to achieve. So that's one of them. But there's hundreds. There's hundreds of them. But that one was one of the most recent ones that were very close to the heart. And there was also another one where the couple, they married anti-nuptial.
Okay.
We touched on COP.
Yes.
Last time I was here. They married anti-nuptial. And the husband's wife, she was retrenched. He actually joined us a couple of years ago. Lovely, lovely gentleman. He joined us a couple of years ago, and his wife has a lot of debt as well. But they have a joint bond, which puts their house at risk. So she recently got retrenched as well. So basically, he's not responsible for her debt, but it's his wife. So, even if you married ANC, it doesn't change the fact that you love the person that you're with. So he feels responsible to pay for her debt as well. And he was he was even more emotional than my other client. And he was like, oh, our house. What's going to happen to our house? Because I'm paying my portion, but, I want to pay my wife's portion as well, but she has so much other debt. And I said to him, but it's not a problem. You will pay for her debt, and we'll put her debt under debt review, and we'll make it affordable so that you can afford both yours and hers up until the point where she finds employment again. So, even him.
Saving marriages.
Yeah, we often say we feel like counselors.
Yeah. You know what? I'm putting you there with the Springboks because the Springboks, we don't see a race. You know, when the broker goes on that field, then we are all, our blood is green. And
Yes.
I didn't once hear you here and say, you know what, that white person or that black person or that colored person,
No.
we all see the human race.
We're all the same.
And wow.
I always say that if I end up in hospital
Yeah.
and I have a rare blood group, or you have the same blood group as I do, they're not going to ask what race, what or what skin color, or what religion, or
Sure.
if our blood groups are the same, you're going to be able to save my life. And that's what makes us equal, is that we all have blood running through our veins. The only difference is our blood groups, nothing else, to me.
Yes.
I know to a lot of people, yes, if you look in a broader spectrum, it's cultures and religions,
Yes.
and I try to educate myself on that, and hence why I mentioned I've traveled the world and I've lived in so many countries, and I've lived with so many different cultures.
Yeah.
Where it's always nice to know. I'm a very inquisitive person. I always ask, because that is a way of respecting someone.
Sure.
Because you understand, you know, what not to say in front of them, or what not to eat in front of them, or how not to behave in front of them, you know. So yes, for us, it makes no difference. Each and every client is equal to us, and we help each and every one with the same passion that we have as with the previous one.
You know, in a world where we live in today, where society always try and separate us, it's good to know that, you know what, we all basically go through the same things, and the solutions are out there, and there are people that actually look at one another and see a human being and not put them into a certain
category. Yes. Yeah, no, that's very true. And it's quite sad that in the past, that is how a lot of us were raised.
Yeah.
But in the new younger generation, well, my son is 26, so with him, you know, he had his best friend, Pumi was his name. He was our neighbor. He was his best friend. And he was an African boy, and we were living in Newtnake.
Sure.
And every weekend he used to come and sleep over at my house, because I only have the one child. And I used to walk, and I remember those years, you know, it was still a little bit different to how things are now.
Yes.
And we'd walk to Pick and Pay, and then my son Wesley would hold my hand on the one side, and Pumi would be holding my hand on the other side.
Sure.
And I'd be walking into Pick and Pay, and people would look like, what is going on here? And then he always used to call me Mommy T.
Mommy T.
You know, and now these kids are running, and the one is at the toys, and the other one's at the sweets. And Wes is calling Mom, and the other one's Mommy T. And then you hear Mommy T, and you just see everybody's faces go, woo. But, you know, things have changed. Thank goodness things have changed. But, yeah, you know, when we were younger as kids, you know, we were living a different type of life in society. Sure. But I must say society has changed a lot, and a lot of people have adapted to it.
Yeah.
But that is why with our company, I can't speak for anyone else, but with our company, it is very much important to all of us, each and every staff member, that we respect each and every person's culture. And we have multiple different races and cultures and people working in our company, because that means that we can assist anyone. Because often I have phone calls, and I have somebody who can't speak a word English or Afrikaans. And I'm like, Sipho, please speak. You know, or he's like, oh, I'm so sorry, sir, I don't speak Afrikaans. But we have people that can do it. So we've put these measures in place where we have people that can accommodate and that can just make communication so much easier. Because I used to sit in the past and not have Sipho in my office next to me, and literally sit on the translator and translate everything. And it's very time consuming, but we would still want to help that person, but we could not understand each other, especially over the phone.
Oh no.
So yes.
See, with languages, excuse me, with languages, that's the problem though. And for me, it's like having Tanya there is like, you know what? Because for me, I'm multilingual.
Sure.
I speak Xhosa, Zulu, Tswana, Pedi, Sotho, learning Venda right now, and Tsonga, you know. So now, when it comes to Afrikaans, it's like that one, and T is always there, and it's like, we are a team.
Sure.
You know, that's always working together, you know, because that's what's important at the end of the day. The client, helping out the problem of the client, dealing with that. That's what's important at the end of the day.
Yeah, and it doesn't matter what it takes. Like, you know, we would sit there and we would like, no, we don't take no for an answer.
Yep.
You know, scratch our heads like, this is the first time I've ever come across this. What do? The whole team gets together. Okay, guys, what do? There has to be a solution. Okay, this one phones that one. This one phones this one.
Yes.
Oh, no, I've dealt with that before in the past. But, you know, we all get together and we don't turn around and say, sorry, but, you know, we won't assist you because you've just avoided this or for whatever the reason is. You know, we put our heads together and we decide that, there's got to be a way forward and we're going to find out what that way forward is. And that's how we learn. And we learn each and every day, just as our clients learn each and every day.
You know, we did mention on the previous episode how you guys go out of your way after hours. And I once again would like to thank you guys for actually doing that, because many of the people that we sent your way, they're only able to communicate
after hours,
weekends, etc. And I got some great feedback. So thank you once again for going that extra mile. And I'm sure that, yes, my questions have been answered. And I'm sure that you guys are happy with the questions that I've asked. But there are some of you who maybe have not asked any questions. Please let us know in the comments below. Let me know which questions I should ask Tania and the team, and they will be able to obviously answer that. But in closing, are there any thought that still comes to mind before we wrap up?
From my side, I'm going to say it again because I'd like it to sink in. Do your own personal assessment. Do it every month. You skip 1 month or 2 months and you don't realize that you're not making ends meet and you're taking out a loan, not realizing that you're not going to be able to afford that the following month. You know what? Just do your own assessment. If you don't know how to do an assessment, ask us. We will show you. We will tell you the basic way of doing that. So my advice would be reassess yourself every single month because your situation at home changes. You know, your kids might need extra money this month because they have a sports tour that they're going on, or one of your parents have fallen ill and they're in hospital and they don't have medical aid and you now need to cover those bills. Yes. So it's very important to do that financial assessment yourself, or go on the financial calculator and let us guide you as to how to do that. So to me, the best advice that I can give everyone is that it starts with you.
Hey family, your support of the Luciaan Godfrey Podcast has been amazing thus far. If it was your first time watching, please let us know in the comments what your experience was like and which one stood out for you. Please do subscribe to our channel to be notified the next time when we upload another video. Thank you so much.